Welcome to this daily PBJ devotional. Read Genesis 40, Job 6, and Matthew 28 today. This devotional is about Job 6. Then Job replied, "If only my grief could be weighed and placed with my calamity on the scales, for then it would outweigh the sand of the seas. No wonder my words have been rash. For the arrows of the Almighty have pierced me. My spirit drinks in their poison. The terrors of God are arrayed against me. Does a wild donkey bray over fresh grass, or an ox low over its fodder? Is tasteless food eaten without salt, or is there flavor in the white of an egg? My soul refuses to touch them. They are loathsome food to me. If only my request were granted, and God would fulfill my hope, that God would be willing to crush me, to unleash his hand and cut me off. It still brings me comfort and joy through unrelenting pain, that I have not denied the words of the Holy One. What strength do I have that I should still hope? What is my future that I should be patient? Is my strength like that of stone, or my flesh made of bronze? Is there any help within me, now that success is driven from me? A despairing man should have the kindness of his friend, even if he forsakes the fear of the Almighty. But my brothers are as faithless as wadis, as seasonal streams that overflow, darkened because of the ice and the inflow of melting snow, but ceasing in the dry season and vanishing from their channels in the heat. Caravans turn aside from their routes. They go into the wasteland and perish. The caravans of Tema look for water. The travelers of Sheba hope to find it. They are confounded because they had hoped. Their arrival brings disappointment. For now you are of no help. You see terror and you are afraid. Have I ever said, 'Give me something, offer me a bribe from your wealth. Deliver me from the hand of the enemy. Redeem me from the grasp of the ruthless'? Teach me, and I will be silent. Help me understand how I have erred. How painful are honest words! But what does your argument prove? Do you intend to correct my words and treat as wind my cry of despair? You would even cast lots for an orphan and barter away your friend. But now, please, look at me. Would I lie to your face? Reconsider. Do not be unjust. Reconsider, for my righteousness is at stake. Is there iniquity on my tongue? Can my mouth not discern malice? This is God's word. In chapter 6, Job continued lamenting the painful afflictions that had come into his life. He had asked his wife in chapter 2, verse 10b, "Shall we accept good from God and not trouble?" But now the sorrow of his reversal in life was weighing down on him much more heavily. He viewed the devastation he had experienced as a direct attack from God, as we saw in verse 4. And Job wished that God would just kill him so that he would die without cursing God. We saw that in verses 8 through 10. Job was tempted to curse God because he felt there was no future for him, nothing to look forward to, no encouragement left for this life. We saw that in verses 11 through 23. Job concluded this chapter by asking for proof of his disobedience. We saw that in verses 24 through 30. Although we know personally and theologically that Job was not perfectly sinless, we also know from chapters 1 and 2 that God did not allow these problems into his life as punishment for sins. But Job didn't know why God allowed all this trouble into his life. In that way, he's like us most of the time. If I break the law and get caught, then I know that the trouble in my life is my fault when I'm being prosecuted. But if I'm living my life as I always have and suddenly my house catches fire and burns to the ground, then I am left to wonder, why did God allow this? Was it something I did? When we cannot see a direct cause for the problems in our lives, we tend to speculate in one of two directions. Either I did something and God is punishing me for it, or God is mistreating me unjustly. And this is what Job was wondering. So he demanded that God answer him. In verses 29 and 30, Job said, "Relent, do not be unjust, reconsider, for my integrity is at stake. Is there any wickedness on my lips? Can my mouth not discern malice?" Those are the words of the NIV. If you were one of Job's foolish friends, how would you respond to the feelings and questions he experienced and expressed in this chapter? His friends were sure that God was not unjust, so they were likewise certain that Job must have done something wrong. Is that how we treat people who are hurting and dealing with problems? Do we assume that God is punishing them for something? That isn't comforting to anyone, but could it be correct? How would God want me to respond to someone in Job's situation? Maybe we know enough about Job's story to give the right answer biblically, but does that knowledge guide us when we are talking with hurting people today? Can we offer friendship and comfort and encouragement to other believers without wondering or implying that they are somehow to blame for their suffering? And if you found this devotional helpful, please go to my website, dailypbj.com/subscribe, and enter your email address. And then every day for free, these devotionals will show up in your inbox, and that will cue you to be in God's Word every single day. Please consider becoming part of my financial support network so I can keep making video content like this and more. Go to dailypbj.com/support if you're interested in being part of that mission. Please share this with someone who might be encouraged by it, and I'll see you next time. May God bless you. I hope you have a great day today.